G'day guys, and today a shorter video as I'm very pressed for time at this point in the week. What I want to do today is draw your attention towards a fantastic book that I've recently read, and that is Myths of the Norsemen by Roger Lancel Green. So what this book does is take all the surviving myths of the Norsemen that we have and put them into one continuous narrative, all from the creation of the world all the way up to the visions of Ragnarok, the final battle. And I think this is really great for people who want to, get in there and learn a bit more about Norse culture, the Norse pantheon and Norse mythology and that sort of thing. But obviously they don't want to slog through massive translations or, something that may be a bit more dense to read, like the original translations of the poems and stories are. This book is incredibly easy to read. It is recommended that it can be read to children as young as 10 years old, and I found it an easy read. Absolutely just flew through it, loved every minute. It's an absolute page turner, filled with heroic feeling, and the primordial battle of man against nature and good against evil and that sort of thing. And to give you an idea of this, I'll just read you the opening paragraph. In the northern lands, the summer is short and the winter long and cold. Life is a continual battle against the grim powers of nature, against the cold and the darkness, the snow and ice of winter, the bitter winds, the bare rocks where no green thing will grow, and against the terrors of the dark mountains and wolf-haunted ravines. So just going off that short extract, we can see how the language is both simple and concise, whilst also being very emotive and visceral. You can truly feel the atmosphere of the narrative throughout the story, and I think that's to its credit. A narrative is truly something special when you feel drawn right into the story and you're there with the characters and you're really rooting for them and that sort of thing, and this is exactly what this book does. I think this book, as well as the original Norse sagas themselves, still bear relevance today, because as you go through them you get this idea of the continuous contests between light and dark, and as the book starts out, as the world is created, things look pretty good for the forces of light. The Aesir, the Norse pantheon, establish Asgard and Midgard, and they solidify their defences, and they travel throughout Midgard, battling the giants and the other evil men. But as the story goes on, things just seem to get worse and worse, and it's bit by bit. Loki appears as a friend to the Aesir, but then he ends up going away and siring the three children of Ragnarok, the last great battle. So that's Hela, that's Jormungand, the Midgard serpent, and Fenris. And even though there are many great victories for the Aesir along the way, Thor goes on many quests and defeats many giants and that sort of thing, you do get this pervading sense that Ragnarok is just getting closer and closer by the day, and the book literally states this as certain parts of the great prophecy of Ragnarok come true. And that bears relevance today because there is this great pervasive feel that we are sliding as a society, as the West as a whole, we're sliding closer and closer to some sort of apocalypse, some sort of Ragnarok. And in this, we're very much like the North Pantheon. We're very worried about Ragnarok and we're trying to do things to prevent it, but all our actions just seem to lead us closer and closer towards it. So despite all the anxiety and fear that this may provoke, I think we can look to this book, and particularly the last little chapter of Odin's final vision of Ragnarok, which, despite its very visceral and confronting nature, the complete destruction of the world, is not a vision of despair, but one of hope. Hope does not take the form of some kind of divine intervention or the arrival of the friendly army at the last second. Hope actually takes the form of one single word, the likes of which I will leave you to discover for yourself. So yes, an absolutely amazing read that I can heartily recommend to all of my viewers. It's a very easy read as well, only 208 pages long, shouldn't take you that long to get through. It's full of heroics, it's very inspiring, it's very hopeful, which in these times of great trial I think we can all take solace in. Thanks all for sticking around, and have a good one.